Okay, we have a question from Juan. My name is Juan, a 39-year-old firefighter in the UK. I've been consistent with my training for pretty much all my life, and my routine is balanced, I would say. My question to you is, what do you think would be a good core routine for firefighters? Details like exercises, sets, and reps, and how many days a week would be appreciated. I've answered this question about firefighters numerous times on this podcast, and I'll answer basically again. I already try to implement your core advice to the best of my ability. I do lots of goblet squats and any kind of squat, loaded carries, suitcase carries, etc. I would just like some structure because although I've been training my core for years, I always struggle with knowing if I got it exactly right. Well, okay, folks, we're talking about the core. I hate the phrase. I like the word column better. Column is the area between the neck and the knees, okay? And I like that better. So general training for firefighters, the best thing I've ever come up with is complexes. If you just type in my name and complexes online, or you go to danjohnuniversity.com, the original article was over at T-Nation. It's my conversations about complexes. Now, back when I wrote the article, it was a different time, but complexes have been around since the dawn of weightlifting. They have different names, but and of course the great Soviet Olympic lifter Vasily Alexiev, he did, and so did David Riegert. They did lots of complexes in their training. So you'd have to be around before the 1960s to have invented it. But so in my definition, a complex is any exercise where the load never leaves your hand. So circuit training is a series of exercises back to back to back to back, but you might do a leg extension followed by a chin up over there, followed by a handstand push up over there. You let go of the equipment and moved on. Both have value. My complexes tend to be, for firefighters, I tend to recommend barbell complexes. When you find that article, you'll find complexes A through F. C is our favorite one at the gym. A is just called that because that was the first one. That was the first one we typed up for the sheets. But C, and then we have a snatch complex I do with my throwers, and that's this will be for a set of 8, but you'll get a sense of how we do it. 8 snatch grip RDLs, 8 squat snatches, 8 overhead squats, 8 back squats, put the bar on the ground. That's 24 squats back to back to back. That's a tough one, and boys, it warmed me up. The barbell is a lot the first time you try it. Obviously, with the armor building formula with kettlebells, I certainly believe, and I think that would be a great template for a firefighter. In fact, there's a part of me who just wants to say, go to danjohnuniversity.com/bookstore, buy the armor building formula, do that. However, we had so much success with the local firemen here back when I was coaching their sons. All the kids would come home and dad say, "What are you doing?" And they'd say, "I don't know, coach is having us do this." And the dads, I think I must have had, I printed out quite a few. The article on complexes plus these big printed sheets with the complexes on them. I must have, if I said 10 or 12 of those to local firefighters who came by to ask for it. I thought that was kind of cool. But that's the thing I think firefighters need. As for the other stuff, the more you work on your craft, is the better you are as a firefighter, the better your crew is, the safer you are. If everybody in the crew, is in reasonable shape and we're doing things correctly, I think all of us feel a little bit safer. So you have a homework assignment. You're going to Google my name plus complexes, and then you're to go to my website and buy the book. You'll also find some of my complex works in my book, Never Let Go. And I'm sure, and in Mass Made Simple, I forgot. I think we do Complex C in Mass Made Simple. And again, it was Mass Made Simple. I mean, really, I was talking to Mike Brown and TJ Bruner today about it. the foundation of Math Made Simple, the original, was complexes and the high rep back squats. Later, we added the military press with kettlebell and bench press, just because I was working with American football players and we didn't want to go 6 weeks without any pressing work. Okay, I hope that helped. It's a good question. If we're going to talk about core, there's 3 exercises I'll talk about. There's 3. This is my 3 favorite core exercises. I think there's the big 3. The first one would be the ab wheel, and I like it from the knees. I don't like you to freak out. As I tell people sometimes, when you're first doing the ab wheel, obviously you can't do it to yourself, and maybe you have a partner. Put your hand on your abdominal wall. If you feel the ab wall contract into 8 parts or 6 parts, great. If you feel the middle part of that soft part of your belly in between stick through, reposition yourself. Ab wheel, love it. Number 2, no surprise here, the suitcase carry. If you really want a strong core that works well for kicking, striking, throwing, the suitcase carry is your answer. And the third one is kind of funny, because this is what Bob Hoffman told President John F. Kennedy back in the 1960s to help with his lower back. Hanging bent knee leg raises. The reason I like hanging bent knee leg raises is, for those of us who've been lifting a long time, we get that weird, it's almost like, my doctor said basically it is a hernia, but you get that where it pokes out here. The nice thing about the hanging bent knee leg raise is, first, it works your grip. Second, it's great for your lower back. When you bring those knees up, it relaxes everything. And so for me, combining, you can either do one of those one day, a couple days a week. Monday you're going to do ab wheel, Wednesday suitcase carry, Friday hanging bent knee leg raise. You can do them back to back to back in some kind of little circuit. I do hanging bent knee leg raises twice a week, suitcase carries as planned in the program. But I think you'll really get some real value out of that. Okay, thank you.